Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. So, you want to bring your dog on a plane? I love this question because I get it all the time at the gate. And honestly, the answer is yes. But with a whole lot of "it depends." That title might have you wondering if flying with your furry best friend is even possible, and I completely understand the confusion. The rules have changed so much in the past few years, and every airline seems to have its own version of the truth. As a 15-year flight attendant, I have personally watched passengers get turned away at the gate with their dogs because of one small thing they didn't know, and that is heartbreaking, especially when it's completely avoidable. Today, I want to walk you through everything you need to know before you even think about booking that ticket with your pup. 7 things that will make the difference between a smooth trip and a total nightmare. Let's go. Cabin versus cargo. Which option is right for your dog? Let me start with the most fundamental question, because this is where a lot of people get confused right from the beginning. When you fly with a dog, there are 2 completely different experiences available to you. Your dog can either fly in the cabin with you, tucked under the seat in front of you in an approved carrier, or your dog can fly as checked baggage or cargo in a temperature-controlled area of the aircraft. Here's what most people don't know. You don't always get to choose. The determining factor is almost entirely your dog's size. In my 15 years, the general rule I've seen across most major airlines is this. If your dog plus their carrier weighs under roughly 15 to 20 pounds combined, there's a chance they can fly in the cabin with you. If they're bigger than that, they're going into cargo. Period. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sarita, my dog is 22 pounds, but she's so well behaved. I hear you. I really do. But the weight limit isn't about behavior. It's about the physical space under that seat. Those under-seat compartments are smaller than you think, and the carrier has to fit completely inside without blocking the aisle or emergency exit paths. That's a federal requirement, not just an airline preference. Here's what I want you to do right now, before anything else. Go to your airline's website and search specifically for their pet policy page, not just the general travel page. Every airline has slightly different weight limits, carrier dimension requirements, and fees. Do not assume that because one airline allowed your dog, another will too. The 2 options, cabin and cargo, are totally different experiences, and we're going to talk about both in detail today. But first, there's something even more important I need to tell you. The breed Blacklist. Most people don't know about. This is the chapter that surprises people the most, and honestly, it surprises me that more people don't know about it. Many airlines maintain what I call a breed restriction list, and if your dog is on it, they simply cannot fly with that airline. Not in cabin, and sometimes not even in cargo. The most common dogs on these lists are what vets call brachycephalic breeds. These are the snub-nosed, flat-faced dogs. Think French bulldogs, pugs, English bulldogs, Boston Terriers, Shih Tzus, boxers. These adorable, beloved dogs have shortened airways, which means they already have to work harder to breathe at sea level. Now imagine putting them in a pressurized cabin at 35,000 feet, in a carrier, possibly stressed, possibly warm. The risk of respiratory distress is real, and it's not just anecdotal. There have been documented cases of brachycephalic dogs dying during air travel. This is why so many airlines have quietly banned them. I say quietly because here's the truth. Airlines don't always advertise these restrictions prominently. You might book your ticket, pay your pet fee, show up at the gate with your Frenchie, and that's when you find out. I have seen this happen. It is one of the saddest things I witness at the airport. So what do? Call your airline directly before booking. Don't just read the FAQ page. Actually speak to a customer service agent and give them your dog's exact breed. Get their answer in writing, or at minimum note the date, time, and name of the agent you spoke to. And if your breed is restricted, we're going to talk about cargo options later in this video. Some airlines do allow brachycephalic breeds in cargo with extra documentation and vet clearance. It's not ideal, but it's an option. The takeaway here, never assume your breed is allowed. Check specifically. every single time. The fit test. Your carrier is more important than you think. Okay, let's say your dog's breed is approved. Great news. But now we need to talk about something that gets passengers turned away at the gate almost as often as breed restrictions: the carrier. Most airlines have very specific dimension requirements for the soft-sided carrier your dog must travel in. We're typically talking about something like 18 inches long by 11 inches wide by 11 inches tall. But again, this varies by airline and even by aircraft type. Here's what I want you to understand. The carrier must fit completely under the seat in front of you, not mostly under, not almost under, completely. And here's the thing. Under-seat dimensions vary by aircraft, by seat row, and even by seat position. Window seats often have slightly less space because of the curve of the fuselage. In my experience, the carriers that consistently give passengers trouble are the ones purchased based on their dog's size alone, without checking the airline's specific dimensions. Your dog has to be able to stand up, turn around, and lie down comfortably inside, but the outside dimensions have to meet the airline's requirements. My advice? Measure twice, buy once. Look up your airline's exact carrier dimensions, then find a carrier that meets those specs. Before your travel day, do what I call the fit test at home. Put your carrier on the floor, crouch down as if you're sliding it under a seat, and see if it fits comfortably in a space of that size. Some people even take it to an airport early to test it at their actual gate. One more thing: soft-sided carriers only. Hard-sided carriers are almost universally not allowed in the cabin. They simply don't compress at all, and they won't fit. Soft-sided carriers have a little give to them, which is why they work. Booking your pet. The secret you must do before you buy your ticket. Here is one of the most important insider tips I can share with you, and it's something the airline will absolutely not volunteer. There are limited spots for pets in the cabin on every single flight. Most aircraft allow somewhere between 4 and 6 pet carriers in the cabin total, split across all cabins. That's it. If those spots are filled before you book, your dog cannot fly in the cabin on that flight, even if you have a perfectly approved breed and a perfectly approved carrier. This means that booking your pet reservation at the same time as your human ticket is not just recommended. It is critical. Actually, let me go further. Call the airline to add your pet to your reservation the moment you book, because some airlines won't let you add pets online, or the online system doesn't accurately reflect available spots. I once had a passenger in tears at my gate because she had bought her ticket 3 weeks in advance, assumed she'd sort out the dog details later, and called the airline the day before to discover the pet spots were sold out. She had to either leave her dog behind or cancel her trip. All of that heartbreak for something completely preventable. The pet fee, by the way, is typically paid at booking and ranges anywhere from about $95 to $200 each way on most U.S. airlines as of 2026, though international flights can be significantly higher. Always check, always confirm, and always get a confirmation number specifically for your pet reservation. Keep that number with your travel documents. Health certificates, documentation, and what the gate agent will check. Let's talk paperwork, because this is another area where preparation can save your entire trip. Most airlines require what's called a certificate of veterinary inspection, commonly called a health certificate, issued by a licensed veterinarian within a specific window before your travel date. That window is typically 10 days before your flight, not 2 weeks, not 2 months, 10 days. This means you cannot get your health certificate too far in advance. I've seen passengers with perfectly valid certificates that were simply dated too early. The gate agent checked the date, saw it was 15 days old, and that passenger and their dog were not getting on that plane. For domestic U.S. flights, the health certificate requirement varies by airline. Some require it, some don't. But I strongly recommend getting one regardless, because it also shows your dog's vaccination records, and gate agents do sometimes ask. For international flights, the documentation requirements become significantly more complex. You may need a health certificate issued by an accredited veterinarian, not just any vet, USDA endorsement of that certificate, Proof of specific vaccinations. Rabies is almost universally required. Import permits for the destination country. Sometimes a microchip verification. My advice for international travel with a pet. Start the documentation process at least 4 to 6 weeks before your trip. Consult both your vet and the embassy of your destination country, and check the USDA APHIS website for country-specific requirements. This is not an area to leave to the last minute. Fees, comfort, and surviving the flight with your dog. All right, let's get practical about the actual travel experience, because once all the paperwork is sorted, you want this to go as smoothly as possible for you and your pup. On fees, as I mentioned, expect to pay roughly $95 to $200 each way for domestic cabin travel. International fees can run $200 to $400 or more per leg. These fees are per carrier, not per passenger, and they are non-refundable once the flight departs. Budget for this accordingly. On keeping your dog calm, here's what we flight attendants notice when a dog is stressed in the cabin. And yes, we do notice. Excessive whimpering, scratching at the carrier, rapid panting. These things are hard to ignore in a pressurized tube with 150 other passengers. What helps? Exercise your dog before you travel. A long walk or play session 2 to 3 hours before your flight can make a huge difference. Bring familiar items, a small blanket or toy that smells like home. Do not feed your dog a big meal right before the flight. A light meal 3 to 4 hours before is better for their stomach. Many vets can also recommend calming supplements specifically for travel, things like melatonin or CBD products formulated for dogs. Always consult your vet before giving your dog anything new, especially before a flight. I want to be clear, do not sedate your dog with human medications or anything not approved by your vet. This can be genuinely dangerous at altitude. On in-flight rules, your dog must stay in their carrier for the entire flight. The carrier must remain under the seat in front of you. You cannot hold your dog in your lap even if they're fussy. I know, it's hard to watch them be uncomfortable, but these rules exist for safety reasons, and as a flight attendant, I am required to enforce them. Cargo travel. When it's necessary and how to make it safer. For those of you with larger dogs, I don't want you to feel like you're out of options. Cargo travel, when done thoughtfully, can be safe for most healthy adult dogs. Here's what most people don't realize about how cargo works. Your pet travels in a pressurized and temperature-controlled section of the aircraft, not in the same hold as regular luggage. On most modern aircraft, this area is climate-controlled similarly to the passenger cabin. Your dog is not freezing down there. That said, temperature extremes on the ground are the real concern. Airlines have strict temperature embargoes. They won't transport pets in cargo if ground temperatures at either the departure or arrival city are above roughly 85 degrees Celsius or below 45 degrees Celsius. These numbers vary by airline. In the summer heat or winter cold, you may find your pet's flight gets canceled or rerouted. Always book cargo pet travel with temperature in mind, and choose morning or evening flights in hot weather. For cargo travel, your dog needs an IATA-approved hard-sided crate that's large enough for them to stand, turn around, and lie down. The crate must be labeled with your contact information, your dog's name, and live animal stickers. Freeze a water dish to the inside of the crate so your dog has water that won't spill during loading. Book direct flights whenever possible. Every connection is an additional opportunity for something to go wrong. An extra transfer, an extra loading, more time on a hot tarmac. And as I mentioned in Chapter 2, if you have a Brachycephalic breed that's restricted from cargo due to breed bans, some airlines do make exceptions with additional veterinary certification. Call and ask specifically. So there you have it. Everything I know from 15 years of watching passengers and their pups navigate airports about flying with your dog in 2026. Let me give you the quick version one more time. Check your breed restrictions before booking. Confirm carrier dimensions for your specific airline and aircraft. Book your pet spot the same moment you book your ticket. Get your health certificate within 10 days of travel. Exercise your dog beforehand, keep them calm, and follow the in-cabin rules. Flying with your dog absolutely can be a wonderful experience. I've seen families travel beautifully with their pets, and I've seen the chaos of being underprepared. You now have everything you need to be in the first group. You deserve to travel with your whole family, and that includes the four-legged members. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel. I put out new travel tips and flight attendant insider advice every week, and I'd love to have you as part of our community. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What's your biggest worry about flying with your dog? Drop it below and I'll do my best to answer personally. Coming up next, we're going to talk about what really happens to your luggage after you hand it over at check-in, and some of it might genuinely surprise you. Until then, safe travels, everyone. Take care of yourselves and your pups.